Good afternoon, Dawn. Lovely to finally meet you. I'm
And
really
you
sorry
too.
we were supposed to chat with you last weekend, but of course all the events surrounding the death of our beautiful Queen just took precedence. So just lovely to finally see you. So tell us, Dawn, about your role within Sandy Bear.
So my role, I'm a bereavement practitioner at Sandy Bear. I'm really passionate about good care for children when somebody special dies in their life. My past role, I'm quite new to Sandy Bear, so previous to this, I was a palliative care play specialist for Hywel Dda. So I worked across 3 counties doing lots of memory making and sort of end of life care, making lots of wishes come true for children, young people who had a palliative condition. So it was a really rewarding job, and it sort of set me up nicely to come into this role. So it's something that I feel really passionate about.
Oh, lovely. Yes, I can imagine. You just need to be a special sort of person. Are you a nurse at all? Did you have any nursing background?
No, I worked
No.
as healthcare. I started my career in A&E many,
Okay.
many years ago,
All
and
right.
I started as a healthcare, then did my band for practitioner training, and that sort of led me to want to go further. I was going to do my nurse training for another year, but play specialism came in to Cardiff, so I was really fortunate to have the opportunity to go onto the course, got my degree, and I worked on the ward for a while. And then
Oh,
a few years ago, the opportunity came up to work within palliative care, and it's brought me here today. So
oh, wonderful. Yes. So, last week it was World Suicide Prevention Day last Saturday. But of course, even though it was a day, it can happen at any time. Any
absolutely.
time, suicides can happen on a Saturday. It can happen on Christmas Day. So how important is the World Suicide Prevention Day to you as an organisation?
I mean, it's huge. Obviously, the day was last Saturday, and that was sort of put aside because of the Queen. Um, so it's the day just gives the opportunity for people across the globe to raise awareness of suicide and suicide prevention. And it
Yes.
gives opportunities for the world to come together to discuss how we can create a world with fewer suicides. And last week, the Office for National Statistics published new research that 3/4 of suicides were male, and that there were 4,129 deaths last year. The latest statistics for Wales shows that there were 347 deaths by suicide last year. And, every life lost to suicide is a tragedy. And we know
Oh,
it's preventable and it's not inevitable. So it's something that we're
yeah.
really passionate about.
It's yeah, so it's just absolutely horrendous. So a family, let's have a little scenario now. A family contact you and they say there's been a bereavement by suicide in their family, and the children are absolutely devastated. How do you step in and take control of the situation?
Okay, so we offer specialist suicide bereavement support for families, children, young people. We work with young people up to the age of 18, but we do give advice to anybody that's got any worries. So Sandy Bear, we've supported many families, and we sit on the board for the Welsh Government National Bereavement Steering Group. So we realise here the death of a loved one, it can impact on a child's like social, emotional development, and the early intervention that we can provide facilitates like their development and their adjustment to that. And we know that children, young people grieve just as much as adults, but they just
Oh,
show it in
yes.
different ways.
Differently,
So
yes.
and they learn to grieve by the responses of adults around them. So it's really important that we give the right information. So first and foremost, sort of when families are bereaved by suicide, the death of a loved one, they have the agonising questions, the intrusive public scrutiny, extra emotions such as guilt, shame, self-blame. So children and young people referred to us need extra support. So just to explain a process a little bit, once we receive a referral into Sandy Bear, we make contact with that family within 24, 48 hours. Anyone can make a referral to us. We then call the family, we carry out a telephone assessment, and we offer support and advice. But more importantly than that, we listen to that person on the end of the phone. and we send out resources. We've got excellent books offering bereavement support and advice. We've got specialist storybooks for children bereaved by suicide. And also, every child young person gets their own Sandy Bear Teddy, and he provides loads of comfort. He's a lovely
Yes.
fiddle, shares secrets with, and he's a reminder to that child that we're here to listen to their story.
Lovely.
So
Yeah.
we then invite the family to come in for a one-to-one assessment. And we find this is often the first time that child or young person has had the opportunity to share their story. And for us, that is fundamental because it tells us what their understanding is and what
Yes.
their interpretation is of what's happened.
Yes.
So following that one-to-one work, then the child young person can then join in peer support groups. So the groups are run with children and young people in one room, and we have parents or carers in another room. We have a really tried and tested program that works, and the clinical leads and bereavement practitioners then run the groups alongside our fabulous, dedicated and experienced volunteers. And for us, seeing the change in that child young person on their first visit to coming in, being really anxious, frightened, confused, to see them leaving group with their certificates, they have a beautiful quilted blanket that's made
Oh.
by an amazing group of volunteers that support us. It's so rewarding. And Sandy Bear himself always comes in person, does the honours, meets the children, which is really exciting.
Oh. Yes.
And,
So
you
it's
know,
lovely.
yeah, and as
Yeah.
challenging as it is, we do have loads of fun with the children, and they
Oh, I
always
can
leave
imagine.
smiles. So it's really
Yes.
rewarding for us to work for them.
Fabulous, yes, and I can imagine, you're sort of indirectly helping not just the immediate family, but all the periphery of the family and
Yes,
friends as well by just seeing the
absolutely.
processes. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, that's, and I suppose it's using the correct wording as well, isn't it, with children? You know,
really important.
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's amazing. So, what advice and information can you give to us all on the prevention of suicide?
Okay, so for us, suicide prevention, it starts really with recognising the warning signs and taking those seriously. If you think of a family friend or a member of your closer circle is suicidal, there are things you can do to help them. So I think it's really important to be yourself. Let that person know you care. They're not alone. And I feel that sort of sometimes finding the right words are not as important as showing your concern. Sometimes that's just enough for somebody to know somebody cares.
Yes,
And
yes.
listening, sort of letting them know they can unload their feelings, say how they're feeling, no matter how negative. The fact that that conversation is taking place is a positive sign because people are
Yes,
very nervous to have these conversations.
yes,
So
yes.
listening is really important, and being sympathetic and non-judgmental. They're doing the right thing by talking to you, so let them share
Yes,
what they're feeling, no matter how difficult it is for us to hear.
yes,
And I think, reassuring them that their feelings are temporary, letting them know that, their life is important to you, and take them seriously. If somebody's saying to you, I feel really depressed, ask them, are you having thoughts of suicide? It doesn't mean that you're putting ideas in their head, you're just allowing them to share their pain with you. And I think it's really important not to argue with that suicidal person, because saying things like snap out of it, you've got so much to live for, it's not helpful to sort of lecture on the value of life. They just
no,
need to somebody's there. And
yes,
and I think a lot of people are frightened when someone says, if I tell you something, promise you don't say. I think don't promise confidentiality. If you're worried and life's at stake, it's really important that you follow that up. So,
yes,
for us to give advice, I think if someone that needs help, please call your GP for support. And we are really fortunate in the How of Our area because in June of this year, How of Our University Health Board became the first health board in the whole of Wales to launch a dedicated mental health advice service. And they offer support for all age groups within Pembrokeshire, Ceredigion, or Carmarthenshire. And they can access this support by dialing 111, select option 2, and you'll be put through to a mental health practitioner. It's a fabulous service. It's accessible
oh
7 days
yes,
a week. 9 till 11:30, and I know they are looking to expand that. So it's a really valuable service for everybody living within the 3 counties of Hywel
Oh,
Dda.
that's absolutely amazing, isn't it? Because I suppose that's part of the problem is that people just really don't know what to do. They don't know what
No.
advice to offer. But you've made it so clear there. That is absolutely amazing. So, whilst the country is all in mourning for our wonderful late Queen, have you had any sort of people contacting you this week with children that are feeling a little bit fragile about what's been happening?
Yes, I think the death of the Queen has affected so many of us across the whole UK, across the world. It's been
World, yes.
huge. So for some children and young people, this could be their first experience of bereavement, and the amount of news coverage, I think, can be confusing for children to process.
Yes.
So children could have, I'm sure all schools have talked about it because it's been so topical, but
Yes.
they may hear it, but they may not be sure what everything means. So I think it's important to recognise, there's a huge national outpouring of grief, and
Yes.
that mourning can bring up old or recent emotions and feelings tied into people's personal experiences of death and grief. So
Yeah.
I think it's really important to just have open conversations with children and young people.
Yes.
Don't be
Yes.
frightened to talk to them. Don't be
Yes.
frightened to say, I'm not sure, but I can find out for you. It's just having the confidence to sort of speak and answer their questions and reassure them. I think it's really important to just say, it's okay, I understand you're not sure about what's happened. And I think the right language is really important, because it's really important that they say died and death,
Yes.
because some
Yes.
people tend to say, "Oh, they've lost them, they've passed
Lost.
away, they've gone to sleep," and that can be quite confusing to children. So,
Yes. Yes. That's right. I was listening to a very a lovely interview with Julia Samuel that was talking on Lorraine. She's a psychotherapist. She was also a friend of Princess Diana, godmother to Prince George, and she said how important it is to give the correct word into children, because she says, if you say, oh, they're lost, well, you can always find something again, can't you? When a child's lost a shoe or something, it always turns up. So yes, she said exactly what you say, that just the correct word in, and then it helps
yes,
them to process it
it
in their
does.
little minds. Yeah,
It
yeah.
does.
Oh,
Yeah.
really, yeah, very, very heartfelt. Okay, so you've got some new pilot projects in the pipeline. Tell us all about
Oh,
that.
yeah, it's a really exciting time for us at Sandy Bear. We've been awarded funding by the Welsh Government to launch a pilot project into Ceredigion and Carmarthenshire to support children and young people following a bereavement through suicide. So the plan is we're going to support up to 16 children and young people within those 2 counties, and it will give children and young people access to both one-to-one individual support and also peer support that's led by us as experienced bereavement practitioners and supported by our amazing volunteers. So the aim is to give access for children and people to access our support and to help them really move on from the painful memories linked to the death of suicide. So
Yes,
it's about
yeah.
sort of helping us make them feel involved, helping them understand better what's happened to their special person, and helping them know really what the truth is, because that gives them clarity. And we find that after we tell children and people the truth of what's happened, it helps them move forward with their grieving process. I think not knowing the truth about suicide, it's absolutely terrifying and hurtful. And
Yes.
the stories children make up to fill those
Yes.
in their knowledge, they're really scary and painful for them. So I think honesty is the best policy,
Best
Jill. We
policy.
think,
Yes.
and because the subject's suicide, that doesn't mean that should be different.
No.
So we support children and parents and carers to keep normal boundaries, because this helps children and young people feel secure, because it can be really easy for parents to sort of make allowances and say, oh, that's okay because they've been through a terrible time. But those boundaries are really important, so we sort of help parents with that. And
Yes.
we acknowledge it's okay to feel angry and upset, because it brings out so many emotions. and it's about finding ways to express that safely. And we also are really, really clear that it's okay to have fun, to laugh and play and see their friends, because children, young
Yes.
people, they don't know what the right or wrong thing is.
No, no,
Honest, there isn't a set thing you have to do. It's very
no.
individual, and we just reassure them
Yeah.
that that is okay, whatever they're feeling, that is okay. So
Yes, yeah, yeah. Oh,
and,
yes.
um, and
Amazing.
and
Absolutely
we find
amazing.
as well that parents and carers feel that they're protecting the child and young person by not sharing the truth. But so we help them, as you said, Jill, about the language is so important. That comes in again about using the right language and helping them remember that special person, not about the suicide, but the memories around the life and what they did with them.
Yes,
So
yes, yeah.
if
Oh,
somebody's listening to this and they're interested, we are running a bespoke training day in Ceredigion and Carmarthenshire.
right.
And if they'd like to know more about this, there's loads of opportunities for people within Ceredigion and Carmarthenshire to facilitate in our group work, to work with the children, young people and the parents. And they can visit our website, get some more information about the project, and they're more than welcome to give us a ring. They can speak to their clinical leads or bereavement practitioners to find out more. And we're also currently recruiting in Ceredigion and Carmarthenshire for events and fundraising volunteers.
Yeah.
So Hannah, I'd love to hear from you. So please, that's
Yes,
listening.
every charity needs a lot of volunteers.
We
Yeah,
do,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, if anybody is wants to play this back, it's on our Facebook page, and of course the interviews are always uploaded onto our website on the catch up after the show. So you can tell all your friends and family that if they've missed an interview, it's there. So all the details will be on our Facebook page. So it's absolutely fantastic. It's just been such an honour talking to you, Dawn. The
Oh,
wonderful work that you do at Sandy Bear, and also, well, we're privileged to be it's for it to be Pure West Radio's chosen charity of the year as well. So good
I
luck
know.
with everything that you do. And anytime you want to come onto my show to talk about any of the projects or just a fundraising event, please contact us here at the studio.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'd love to take this opportunity as well, Jill, to say hello to all our gorgeous children, young people and families that we work with. And a
Absolutely.
huge thank you to our incredible supporters, the
Yeah.
amazing organisations like yourselves who nominate us as Charity of the Year. We appreciate all of you, and you make our work possible. You make our
Good.
therapeutic days out possible.
Yes.
And I want to
Yeah.
give a big shout out to our amazing team of volunteers. We have got the best volunteers. Our chair, Isabel Hall, our valued trustee board. We have such a fabulous team who make Sandy Bay possible. So just to say thank you to everyone who gives us their time, which is honestly so appreciated by us all at
Yes.
Sandy Bay. So
Invaluable and very special. Yes.
honestly,
Yes. Yeah.
it is, yeah.
Wonderful. Lovely. Smashing talking to you today, Dawn. Absolutely a privilege. And I'm going to play you a special tune now from Lizzo, To Be Loved, that you've requested.
Thank you.